Right. Is it live streaming? I think we're live streaming. Okay, that looks good. Right. There's audio. Right, lovely. Hello, everyone. How are we all doing? I'm going to wait for the first couple of people to file in. Setting the stream to public might be useful, you know. It could help. Right, public. There we go. Right. Hello, everyone. I've just set the stream to public. I totally haven't been talking to myself for the last minute or so. How are you all doing? Hope you all enjoyed that qualifying session. It was a pretty decent session, I'd say, overall. You know, I wouldn't say it was a bad session by any means. So let's. I'm just gonna quickly get this tweet out, just saying like, "Hey, look, we're live. Come watch us." So we can, you know, talk to more of you all. If I could find the thumbnail in my folders. There we go. Right, so let's just quickly tweet this out, and then we'll get going. So yeah, Max Verstappen and Lando Norris both been summoned to the stewards. Obviously, Max is the one who's facing a penalty rather than Lando. Hello, everyone. See, some of you are starting to filter in. How you doing? Good day. Hello, Lawrence. How you doing? Hello. What do you think about this quali? Well, we'll get onto it. We'll get onto it in just a moment. I've got to say, brilliant to see again so many close qualifying sessions, and we have had that again. Top three separated by what was it, half a tenth of a second. Ridiculously close, you know, less than a blink of an eye sort of level. So yeah, it's good to see that we are getting close qualifying sessions, and as well at parts in Q3 or Q2 we had, what was it, the top 9 separated by 3/10. So to have that in the first year of the new regulations, I think that bodes really well for the next couple of years that we're going to get in F1, you know, 2 or 3 years down the line. So let's just get this out with Max Verstappen potentially facing a grid drop. Join us as we wait for the outcome and have a chat about the hashtag Japanese Grand Prix. See, this is some more people find the tweet. You know, this is just pro marketing right here. In our stream below. There we go. I won't make it too long. There we go. Just hashtag F1, hashtag Verstappen. Sure, let's just chuck that in. Cool. And then you do a couple of cute little, you know, pointy down emojis. There we go. Right. Okay. So now we are going with this live stream. So what I'm going to do, the first thing we're doing here is we're going to set up a poll because I want to know what you guys think, and also we're going to do a really cool experiment with this one. Yeah, Perez was flying Q2. He was really strong. Also, hello, Aubrey. How are you doing? Hello, Balu, as well. Hope you're all having a brilliant day or a great morning, or wherever you happen to be all around the world. I'm going to put up an interesting poll here that I thought of. So, should Max Verstappen be given a grid drop? So question mark. But what we're going to do on this one, we're going to have 4 options. Not our normal, you know, 2 options, yes or no. We're going to do I'm a Max fan and yes, as well as here we go. I like this idea. As well as I'm not a Max fan and yes. And then we have the 2 other options of I'm a Max fan and no. Right, here we go. So I'm just going to put those in capitals. So yeah, get voting on this poll pretty much the second it comes out in just a moment. And then we're also going to have I'm not a Max fan and no. Right, there we go. So have at that poll. It'll be interesting what you guys think. Obviously, this incident with Lando Norris that occurred. So what we've got is 20 minutes until Verstappen and Norris have to head to the stewards. Max says Norris should have had more respect and not overtaken her. And yeah, I think that's a problem. You can say... right, so this is all going to boil down to the quote, and I'm air quoting here, so I'm not on webcam because I'm... You know, I woke up at about 6 o'clock in the morning. I haven't showered. It was a choice between showering or food, and I took food. And I do not regret it. So yeah, the gentleman's agreement isn't written into the rules. You know, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, Max can say, "Oh, I was expecting Lando to not speed up," and that's probably true. You know, well, no, that's definitely true. He wasn't expecting Lando to speed up. But the way the rules are written, we have, I think I bookmarked it. Here we go. This is the exact article, which is what Max has been called in for as well on the document sheet, 33.4. So that one from Formula Nerds here is, at no time may a car be driven unnecessarily slowly, erratically, or in a manner which could be deemed potentially dangerous to other drivers or any other person. And I think Max, by getting that, by losing the rear end, having a bit of oversteer, that is effectively, he wasn't in control of his car, which would be, deemed dangerous at a low speed with a car coming on the left. So it'll be interesting what the stewards make of this. But yeah, Max is into the stewards in just 20 minutes time. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that. Have a British audience. This poll is bonkers. I don't actually have a majority British audience. Yeah, it's not majority. The biggest audience is British, but we have a lot of Indian, a lot of American, Australian, Dutch. There really is. I love looking at that demographic. That demographic tab to see how many different countries we have. It's amazing, really. What have we got? Love the laps, Seb put in. Oh, how I will miss him next season. I know he did great today, didn't he? He was absolutely immense today. And you know what? Fair play to him, because he did a phenomenal job. Really good job. Yeah. So I'm choking. That's good. I think you should turn your poll around. No, I'm a Max fan. So the answer to the poll question first. Yeah, I was going to do that, but I'd already started to... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. There's only been 30 votes. We're going to do that. I started typing it and I was like, no, I can't bother to change it. But no, you are right. If someone else has pointed it out, then I'm gonna do it. Should Max be given a penalty? So yeah, we're about 15 minutes now. Yeah, 15 minutes away from the drivers going to the stewards, or 13 to be slightly more specific. Should Max be given a penalty? We've got yes, I am a Max fan, and then yes, I am not a Max fan. Okay, yeah, this is much neater. Looks much better. No, I am. Actually, I'm just gonna copy and paste that. See, efficiency. And then we've got no, I am not a Max fan. There we go. Right, okay, new poll. Well, same poll, but answer it. What have we got? 5-place grid penalty. Yes, it'd be a 5-place grid drop if he is given a penalty. What does it say here? We've got Verstappen estaba calentando. Verstappen, I was warming up the tyres and I lost the rear of the car when accelerating. At that moment, when I was overtaking, it was not on purpose. I couldn't improve my lap because I lost a part of the car. So we saw that actually at the end of what was it, turn 2 or so. He came on the exit and yeah, part of the rear end just completely came off. There's that Lando Norris expects Max Verstappen to land a penalty for their near miss at 130R on the first warm-up lap in Q3. Okay, yeah, so there we go. I mean, there's not any updates just yet. They are going to the stewards in 10 minutes time. Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, as we can see from the summon sheet, we have a driver and team representative are required to report to the stewards at 5 o'clock local time, which is in 10 minutes time in relation to the incident below. So there we go. That is what we've got. And yeah, Mika Salo. Oh, that's cute. He's on the stewards panel today. I like him. Haven't heard from him for a while. Max shouldn't get a penalty because it was not a flying lap. Yeah, and I think that's one of the main arguments that Red Bull camp and Max are going to make. Is yeah, it wasn't on a flying lap. There's no arguing that really. But again, we'll go back to actually I'll keep this tweet up that we have here. So we say Lando says expected a penalty, but this is the more important one, so I'll get that up. At no time may a car be driven unnecessarily slowly, erratically, or in a manner in which could be deemed potentially dangerous for other drivers or any other person. So obviously that's where this debate's going to be coming from, is whether or not this was, driving too slowly to the extent that it was dangerous, and who knows what's actually going to happen here. What happened? So actually, I'll try to find a video. Let's try to find a video of it. Let's try to... So right, let's just type in Verstappen Norris and then go on videos and see if there's been anyone... Here we go, so someone has uploaded it, right. So this is what happened for anyone who hasn't seen it. This is what happened.
The wheel spin from the rear when he's got the power.
So Lando's sped up to try to overtake Max before he starts his lap. Then we can see Max, he basically, from his onboard, we can see he floors it to try to get some tyre temps in the rear. And just has a massive snap of oversteer. And it forces Lando onto the grass.
Massive snap of oversteer. Great job by Lando.
Yeah, Lando reacting well there, because that could have... that could have gone quite right. Once he sees Max does have it under control, you can see he does start to turn right again. But then realises at this point he's on the grass, he's sort of got to control it. But yeah, that's where sort of Lando's session fell apart, was in this incident. So, yeah, that's, I believe, why he didn't qualify great, because he didn't get a great last run in. Right, what are you guys saying in the chat? What was it? Norris was going fairly quickly on an outlap, and he should have seen Verstappen or even be told about him. The thing is, he knew he was there, but if you look at the gap that Max had on the left, Lando's thinking, at this point, there's no need to slow down. If Max was over here, if Max was on the left, I don't know if my mouse is showing up on, I think it is. If Max was over here on the left-hand side, then yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Max, there's more than a car's width there. Max is offline, driving slowly. It's only when Max gets on the throttle that it becomes a dangerous situation, because he just doesn't have the rear tyre temperatures. Wouldn't say it's Max's fault. Max had absolutely no idea Lando was, Max had no idea Lando was coming. But ultimately, you can say Max was driving unnecessarily slowly. And, but by the way the article's written, if we take a look at that, we have 33.4, and no time may a car be driven unnecessarily slowly, erratically, or in a manner in which could be deemed potentially dangerous to other drivers or any person. And can you say, he was driving unnecessarily slowly, and by losing control of the car, drove in a way that was erratic and potentially dangerous? So that's the argument the stewards are going to make, and I guess McLaren as well, and probably Ferrari will want a keen eye on that. But yeah, it's a tricky one, because Lando, I can only assume he sped up because he wants to start his lap ahead of Max. There's space on the left hand side. It's just when Max gets on the throttle, he loses the rear end. And it's such a harsh one, because technically it's not like Max's fault in that sense, because he's just lost the rear end. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But they are in the stewards in 7 minutes time. So 7 minutes time, we will see them arriving in the stewards, because we have had a summons for Max Verstappen for 5 o'clock local time, which is in Japan in 7 minutes time. So not long to wait now if you're just tuning in here. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out. If you're new here, let us know, and you can give a little, I don't know, shout out thing. But yes, what does everyone think of the session as well? Let's get into the chat. What's my bold prediction if it's a dry or wet race tomorrow? For me, it's a wet race. Put Vettel top 5 as my bold prediction. Yeah, in the rain, the Aston Martin, it's pretty handy in sort of higher downforce conditions. It's not a terrible shout. Not a terrible shout at all. I'd be surprised if he's able to get top 5. But, it's definitely doable. You just need 1 or 2 cars to crash out. Lando P4 tomorrow. That would be one hell of a comeback. Not long to wait till I go to stewards. No clue how long. Yeah, no, exactly. No clue how long they'll actually take once they're there. Surely this won't be one of those hour-and-a-half decisions. Like, the stewards are either going to watch this a couple of times and decide if it's a penalty or not, if it breaks these rules or not. That's what this whole discussion is. So hopefully the FIA get on top of it, and we can get there pretty quickly. So we'll see what they do. His always tyres by weaving, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I mean, he was just trying to get a bit of a burnout on the rear tyres to try to get some temperature in them. But it's that massive snap of oversteer, just not expecting Lando to be there at all, because Lando had only recently sped up. I don't think the debate here at all from anyone really is that it's deliberate. Well, Lando did say he was trying to defend. But for me, it's just an unfortunate accident, but it's a tricky one. It's a really, really tricky one. And it would be really interesting what the FIA go with here, what the stewards decide. Vettel was too good. Vettel was phenomenal today. But how slow Merc turned out. Yeah, they didn't have the pace at all. They did not have the pace. Will Lewis win a race this season, or is the record going? I don't think he will this year. I'm struggling to see races where he can win. Red Bull and Ferrari just seem, as the season's gone on, to get. Yeah, Mercedes have solved problems. They've got quicker, but the straight line speed of Red Bull is just absolutely phenomenal. It's like what we had, last 5 years with Mercedes. Their engine is just so much better this year compared to rivals, and it's working for them. It's working so well for them. Do you do a shoe 10k subs? No, I'm yet to do it because this is only my second live stream after doing it. If I had a shoe and if I'd showered, because, I was up really early watching practice 3 and then qualifying, I had the choice between showering and breakfast, and I chose, I'm not going to complain about my decision because I had some lovely bacon rolls. So yeah, there we go. I'll leave this going just so people can sort of see what the actual incident was for anyone who hasn't seen it. So yeah, I still owe you guys the Shui for 10k, and once we come back with sort of like a bigger live stream, we will be doing that. I will be drinking from my shoe, as for some reason so many of you wanted. But yeah, what have we got? So I expect Alpine to be competitive tomorrow as well. Ocon, very good lap in his final Q3. Yeah, Alpine seem to have some really serious pace, especially compared to McLaren today. So that's looking good for them after McLaren had such a strong performance in Singapore. It could be a good opportunity for Alpine to, regain the lead in that battle. The onboard footage does look bad for Max. It does. And to be honest, his does as well. It's just the case. He lost control of the car. He didn't mean to do it, and it's one of those, he'll probably end up getting a penalty for it, but I don't blame him too much. I'm not going to, hold it against him or anything. Because he's not sat there for, oh, this will be funny, let's chuck Lando off the track. What do you think of Max getting disqualification from last year's championship? I really don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. The delay seems weird for me. It seems almost certain Max is going to wrap up the championship this weekend, or there's a very, very good opportunity for Max to wrap up the championship this weekend. So are they, this is a theory that I've seen a few of you put in the comments of our videos, are they waiting until Max wins the next championship, this year's championship, to strip him of his first? I don't know. I couldn't begin to really comment on that because we just simply don't know. We don't have these figures to hand. We don't know what the FIA are thinking. We don't even have 100%. I can fairly confidently say I think it is Aston Martin and Red Bull who are the two teams who are going to be in trouble. But it's almost impossible to know. Without having the documents in front of us, I think it is just a case of waiting to see what the FIA come out with. Hey, it's George from Twitch. Oh, how are you doing? How you doing, man? How you doing? Good to see you over here on YouTube. How's chat doing? Yeah, how are you? How are you? I hope you're all having a pretty good weekend so far. I know it's been an early wake up for us in Europe. How did you all find the session and such? And also, anyone up to anything interesting? Because right now, in a couple of seconds' time, once that clock in our bottom right goes to 20 hours and however many minutes, that is when the summons comes into effect, and that's when they should be speaking to the stewards. 5 o'clock local time is, basically right now. So we will see that coming up in a moment. Debating again, yeah. How am I doing? Oh, good. I'm doing great. I've had a lovely breakfast. Woke up very early. Just got started going back to uni as well. So I've had a lot of long drives and stuff. I'm living from home this year, which is working out significantly cheaper. So while it does mean I have to wake up at about 5 o'clock every morning, it does mean I save a lot of money. So, on that front, I'm doing all right. Max World Champion? Well, I think it's almost a given. Max is going to end up World Champion this year. It's a matter of when, not if. Obviously, a penalty here could set him back maybe if he has a poor race. Because it is hard to overtake at Japan. It's hard to overtake at this track. So a 5-place grid drop is going to hurt him. Carlos Sainz of Charles Leclerc must surely be on for a 1-2 if Max gets a penalty. But it's Ferrari. We've seen many times this season how it can go so horribly wrong so quickly. So don't be surprised if it does. How old am I? I've just turned 20. Last month, just over a month ago. So yeah, nice and I was about to say nice and young, but that sounds a bit creepy, doesn't it? But yes, how's life? All good, all good. Thank you, A7 Techers as well. I'm trying to read as many comments as possible. I would give Max a 10-place grid penalty. That could have been much worse. It could have, and I think this is more on the serious end of what dangerous driving could be. And again, it's not deliberate. I want to put that out there. Max has not gone, oh, it would be funny to chuck Lando off the track, because Max doesn't care if Lando overtakes him. It doesn't really matter. So, he's not done anything deliberate here. He's not being malicious, but the way the incident's gone, it's pretty likely to end up a penalty, I think. So, right, what are we seeing? So we've got, yes, I am a Max fan with 23%. Yes, I am not a Max fan on 36%. So, yeah, I think majority going yes. But the reason I did this poll is because it's really interesting the difference in how different fans have, like, biases and so on. You'd expect it to be, especially with a sample size of about 260, 270 now, you'd expect it to be fairly uniform between the yes and yes. The yes and no for Max fan and yes and no for non-Max fans. And the reason I did this poll in this way, Jesus Christ, what was that? Don't shout at me like, thank you for the subscribe scenario. So that is so much louder than I thought it was. I'm going to turn my headphones down because that's actually just scared significant amounts of stuff out of me. Oh, God. It's a budget cap issue. True, because some of the team principals aren't in Suzuka. Yeah. Well, actually, I haven't seen that, to be honest. Which ones aren't? That would be interesting to see, because, yeah, I haven't seen that, actually. But the way I see it, I don't know. I think the delay is simply because there's some kind of dispute. But again, I'll reiterate, because there's more people here now. I'm going to parrot the theory that some people put in some of our recent videos on the budget cap, that maybe the FIA are waiting for Max to wrap up this year's championship this weekend before announcing any significant penalties from last year. So people, the hope is people will be distracted by this year's championship. Even if they don't strip Max of his championship, people will still be going, oh, yay, Max won the championship. And, like, any penalty won't be as big of a thing. I quite like that theory, because it's definitely something the FIA would do. Whether or not it's true, that's probably a completely different question. But it's a fun theory. But what if the, what are we saying? Hey, do you remember me? I do, Ishan. I absolutely do. Good to see you back in some of these live streams. And that's the thing, I love coming back to these live streams and just seeing some of the people that we haven't spoken to for ages. Thank you for the sub, as well as Sif Ashraf. Thank you for the subscription. I'm a Max fan, but Lewis is the GOAT of the sport. I think a lot of people may agree with you on that one. I might need to consider maybe muting this, because it's making quite a lot of noise. Is the audio level okay for you guys? Because it's really loud in my ear. But I don't know what it actually sounds like on the stream. What's the time for? It's for the race Lights Out. It's for Lights Out tomorrow. What's the local time in Japan now? 5 PM. Yes, we are 3 minutes past 5. So Max and Lando have been in the stewards for supposedly 3 minutes now, based on when, the expected time of summons was. Max being aggressive. I don't think it's being aggressive. I don't think there's anything malicious in it at all. I think it's just he didn't know Lando was going to be there. He's tried to light up the tyres, get some temperature in the rears, and he's just had a snap of oversteer. Just had a really unfortunate snap of oversteer. Which teams do you think will improve next season? I think we'll see Aston Martin improve. I think they're one of the biggest names to improve, because obviously they've brought in a lot of really high-level staff from other teams, from Red Bull and Mercedes. And we will start to see the new facilities as well come online next year. So I think the team that has the biggest scope for development is definitely Aston Martin. Because seriously, the facilities they're making, their new wind tunnel and so on, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it should progress them as a Formula 1 team. So we'll see how that turns out. But it's still dangerous if Lando crashed. That could have been... Oh, yeah, no, that could have been a really, really bad crash, because the speed difference between the two of them, especially if it was a side-on impact with Max, that could have been really, really serious. So, yeah, thankfully Lando did react quick enough to get out of the way for both of their sakes. Because, yeah, that would have been both cars starting from the pit lane if the drivers were fine enough to start, because, you have got really serious pace difference there. There's also a gentleman's agreement. Well, yes, exactly. But I will say, and I started off the stream, but I appreciate there's about 300 people more here now than when we started. So the gentleman's agreement, yes, it's in place, and that's what the drivers expect to follow, but it's not written in the regulations. So the FIA are not going to sit there and go, oh yes, well there was a gentleman's agreement, because that's not for the stewards to decide. It's for the drivers to follow, if they're going to follow it. But if that doesn't happen, then I don't think the stewards should really be judging that. They could definitely take it into account, though, that Max wasn't expecting Lando, and I think they probably will, which might limit it to like a 5-place grid drop, I think. I think Aston could be 6th best next season with Alonso behind the wheel, and the fact that he is still competing at a very high level. He is, isn't he? He's still performing so strongly for his age, which is just, if I'm doing anywhere near as well as if I was in a sporting position doing that well in my job at that age, I'd be more than happy. So yeah, that'd be interesting to see. 3-place grid penalty, yeah, that's fair as well. Between 3 and 5, unless that's been actually, let's open up another page so we can just keep an eye on the live updates. That'd be a good idea as well. So Twitter, so let's take a look. So what we've got, Verstappen Norris instant penalty or no penalty. So let's take a look at the YouTube poll. We'll vote in the way. So yes has got a majority of 9% compared to no. It's at 59% compared to 41 for no. So we'll vote yes, slam dunk penalty. Okay, so we have, okay, so that makes sense. That seems about right. That's pretty much what we've got as well. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear majority there, but we'll see. What's this? Binotto on budget cap to Sky Italy. A decision has been postponed, so there are discussions and points that are not clear. FIA is disputing, the team is defending. The important thing is that if someone has been granted, it's transparent, so everyone... Yes, absolutely. Binotto is spot on there. Even if it comes out that, we need to know what's happened. The FIA really does need transparency, especially when it comes to the budget cap, because it's the first year of it happening. So yeah, this is the summons for Verstappen and Norris. So 5 o'clock UK time, 5 o'clock local time they've got there, which is 9 o'clock UK time, so 7 minutes ago. They have gone into the stewards. I don't think we've seen any pictures of it or anything, so normally I like to bring you that, but I'm not sure we've actually got any pictures, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, unfortunately we haven't got it. Let's go on the Japanese Grand Prix hashtag, actually. That might be a good way to do it. We can get some maybe photos of whatever's going on. So right, what are we seeing in the chat? What have we got? Is this a 44 fan channel? No, it's not. I am always as unbiased as I can possibly be. And look, I'm a Lando Norris fan, so I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. Being unbiased. But no, this is no, we try to be as unbiased as possible because it just makes it a more enjoyable experience for everyone. Because if I sit here and start, parroting the lines of one driver, one team, it's not very fun for me. I would enjoy doing that. But yeah, also, secondly, there's, you're annoying segments of the audience, which is just no fun for anyone. What do you think of Gasly at Alpine next season? It'll be really interesting to see, because I'm not particularly sold on Gasly as a driver, if I'm being honest. Like, obviously, he's competent. He's a fine driver. But I don't know, Alpine might be his level. That might be the top end of his level, to be fair. So I don't know. Yeah, so can anyone in the chat give me an update on if that ding-a-ling-a-ding is too loud for you guys? Because it's quite loud in my ear, but obviously I don't have the audio levels without messing up the stream. So if anyone has an issue with it, say, and I can turn it down, I think, somehow. Or look at turning it down. Sound to... no, it's not loud. Okay, cool. Brilliant. Thank you so much. No, I like ding it. So do I. I like it as well, but I'll turn my headphones down more. Maybe a tad lower. Yeah, okay, I'll take a look at it. Not too loud. No. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you very much for that. Slow down, you can't win from pole position. I love that idea. What is that? Keenan saying it. That's amazing. Charles Leclerc, slow down, you can't win from pole. Oh, that's brilliant. You should add Seb singing for the sub animation. Oh, great. That's a good idea. Okay, to overtaking difficulty on this track, high. Very, very high difficulty for overtaking here at Suzuka. It is not an easy track to pass on at all. Which is why a 5 or 10 place grid drop, whatever the FIA decide, if Max gets that, is pretty significant. It's not going to be like Monza, you know, he's not going to be able to just glide through the grid and come to the front. It's going to be tricky. It's tricky to pass here. Really, all you've got is coming into the last chicane, because it is wide enough to get a move done, and also the first corner as well. So, but you have to typically go around the outside of the first corner, which makes it a bit more dramatic. It's a hard pass. It's a hard track to pass on. There's just no getting over that. It is a very, very hard track to race on. What we see? Don't know what the penalty about. Lando was not even on a hot lap, and obviously Max. So right, okay, I'll go over this again. So they've been summoned for Article 33.4, which says at no time may a car be driven unnecessarily slowly, erratically, or in a manner which could be deemed potentially dangerous to other drivers or any other person. So if we take it sort of point by point here, have we got unnecessarily slowly here? Maybe. You know, he's at a very slow limping speed, and his tyres, you know, his rear tyres had actually got too cold. That's why he got the snap of oversteer when he came on the throttle. And again, there's new people joining here. I want to say this, Max has not done this on purpose. He's not gone, ooh, let's shove Lando off the track. I'm not saying that for a second. But the thing is, I mean, just look. So you've got unnecessarily slowly, potentially, that first point. Erratically, as in he's lost control of the car. Again, not you know, on him, or in a manner which could be deemed potentially dangerous, which this could have. So oh god, oh no, we've got that adult bots coming in again. Oh dear, oh dear. Also, we've hit 1K live viewers. That is absolutely crazy. We haven't had this for a while. Should we do this? We haven't done this for a while. Let me know where you guys are watching from across the world. And also, if you haven't voted on the poll, then give that a go, and we'll see what all of you guys think. But let us know, let everyone here know where in the world you are watching this stream from, because we have not done this for a while, and it's really funny just watching the chat go. Here we go. What we've got: UK, India, Singapore, Bedroom, Ireland, Taiwan, Barnsley, Thailand, Holland, Namibia. We haven't had Uranus yet. Netherlands, Denmark, Singapore. This I love this. I just love doing this. Well, we've got India, UK, Japan, India, Greece, India, Singapore, Indonesia, Texas, India, Somalia, Belgium, Nigeria, Sweden, Los Angeles, Maldives, South Africa, Nigeria, Wales, Austria, Italy. It's crazy how many people around the world end up finding these streams. Is just absolutely bonkers. Birmingham, South Africa, England, Slovakia, Saudi, Portugal, India, Boston, Australia, Netherlands, Maldives. Phenomenal. Mexico in all caps. Uranus! There we go. Saturn and Uranus seem to be common themes when we do this. I didn't know we had colonies out there. Well, we've got Germany, India, Malta, South Africa, Australia. Absolutely love it. Thank you guys for doing that. It makes me laugh. I really enjoy it. So Article 33.4. So this is it for new guys just joining, because I saw we've gained about 200 viewers while I was just shouting out countries. At no time may a car be driven unnecessarily slowly, erratically, or in a manner which could be deemed potentially dangerous to other drivers or any other person. We've got Newcastle, San Francisco, very exotic. So, yeah, I mean, arguably, almost all three of these points could be hit for Max here. Which could make it, I don't want to say slam dunk, because it won't be, because obviously it wasn't on a lap. So yeah, that's what we've got. We have the summons, so we have this document here, the summons for Max Verstappen. It was for 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock local time, which was 14 minutes ago. So hopefully the FIA don't take too long on this, as long as they did with Perez after the race at Singapore. Because that was rough. My mum's bedroom. Wow, you're across the hall. Well, I hope you're enjoying the stream. I will disappoint you. She's at work, so you know, not quite as fun. I think a 2 or 3 place grid penalty would be just. Yeah, probably. But I think. Yeah, it would either be like a 3 or 5 place grid drop, I think. If it ended in a crash, then it could have been, very serious for the drivers involved, because the pace difference is massive. But also, I think if there was contact, then, yeah, it would be a very severe penalty. Very severe penalty. Well, we've got, I go for Alpine. What's John Cena doing in my room? I can't see you. Bro, what are you studying uni? I'm doing automotive engineering with motorsport, which is very exciting. Am I back from Twitch? Yep, we are here now from Twitch. Twitch deal came to an end. I'm nearly all paid by Twitch, and I'll say I definitely miss the time here on YouTube. Twitch does have some good engagement tools. that YouTube doesn't have. But, you know, on the whole, the discoverability, I mean, we've got 1,200 people watching this on YouTube. Our average Twitch stream had about 15. So, not 15,000, about 15 people. So, yeah, hope you're all having a great day, and it's great to see so many of you again over here on YouTube. Well, we've got Romania as well, and 3 love hearts to boot. I just remembered last race Verstappen nearly crashed into Norris. Yeah, that as well. Rest in peace, Lando. Yeah, something to at least delay the championship. Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? We want to take this championship as long as possible because, like I say, it's not if Max wins the championship, it's when he wins the championship. So I think delay it as long as possible makes it fun. You know, it keeps a bit of stakes up during the races, even if they are small stakes. It does keep a little bit of intrigue going, a bit of mystery. I think we'll see some fireworks between Ocon and Gasly next season. So do I. You've got 2 very emotional Frenchmen, very competitive young Frenchmen. A French team, they'll want to impress. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really fun. And they're pretty even on pace as well, I'd say. Bro, I'm doing engineering too, but I'm doing aerospace engineering. I'm trying to be a pilot. That's amazing. Best of luck with you on that one. Well, so hi RaceBeacon, do you remember me from Spain testing? Yes, I do actually. I do remember you guys. Well, yeah. Hope you've had a good couple of months. Well, see, full French team. Yeah, that's gonna be amazing to watch. Lando's just corners away from his first lap. From his fast lap, and he's preparing for it. Exactly. Yeah. This what we're seeing here is different approaches to starting their lap. So obviously you have the more slow approach from Max, keep the tyre temperatures down, whereas Lando, it's a case of getting there as quickly as possible. And thank you everyone who is subscribing as well. If you are new here, smash the subscribe button. Really, really does help out as we try to move on to 12k subs next up, which will be really interesting to see if we can try to hit that, I don't know, by the end of this year. We probably should be able to, but yeah, like, you know, goals in it. Max said it's when you're out of the car, you see the whole picture, and it makes a lot more sense after leaving the steward's office. Okay, so is that him after leaving the steward's office? Right, so that sounds like it could well end up being a penalty then. If that's just come in. Tigger suggested maybe a reprimand for Max Verstappen regarding Lando in his car. Yeah. I mean, again, I get that as well if it does end up being a reprimand, because it wasn't on a hot lap. Yes, we also had the announcement of Nick DeVries, I don't know how he's going to do next year. That's going to be really fun to see how he does. What else we got? Nick Max has... Bonotto's interview Sky. I haven't seen pictures of Toto and Suzuka either, so I'll show you both. Oh, so... Okay. Yeah, these could be quite serious talks then with the FIA, whatever's going on. But Toto has come out and said he's going to start missing races because of how, you know, packed the calendar is now. He has said that this is something that's going to start happening. So I, you know, that it should just be one of those. So yeah, if Bonotto and Toto both aren't there, then yeah, that could be quite a big thing and quite serious for the budget cap rules, maybe. Or it's just, you know, neither of them fancied going this weekend. It could just be a coincidence, but it's probably not. No, this changes Fatness Streets in here, but no, hang on, I'll swap this to latest tweets. That's a better idea. There we go. Don't want to forget, what's it?
There's Lando, and there's...
I don't know if you guys can hear this, I hope you can.
And Lando. Are we all friends, lads? Do we think it's going to be okay? Pole's okay?
Always friends.
Do you think Pole's going to be all right?
It's just when you're in the car, right? Once you see every onboard, makes all more sense.
They got the whole picture then, the stewards.
They have everything, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, good luck with it, Max.
Okay, so there we go. So that sounds like they maybe haven't come to a decision yet, but I think Max would probably understand if he gets a penalty. That's sort of how it sounds, I guess. Like, he yeah, it sounds a bit like he wouldn't be too shocked if he gets a penalty. I had a tweet up on here. Oh yeah, it's the video. Oh, I've lost the video now. No, there it is. Cool, we'll leave that. Right, let's go back to YouTube after hearing that. How often do I stream? Bro, it's been a month since our last stream, but I really want to turn that around. We had unfortunately loss in the family, so I took a couple of weeks off. Sort of spend time with family members, so that's why there was a little bit of a gap. I want to come back to much more regular streaming now. Won't be streaming during the race. No, unfortunately won't be streaming during the race, because that was something I sort of only did when we had the Twitch deal, because I had to stream a certain amount of hours. But I will try to go back to doing post-race streams, especially when something like this happens, when we have sort of penalty things up in the air. That's definitely when we'll come back to stream. But yeah, so yeah, 11k subs our shooter. We're gonna have to shoot you. We're gonna have to shoot you. When I do a stream where I actually have my webcam set up, because like I said, I woke up really early this morning. I've had to watch practice, qualifying, and then eat food. I haven't had time to shower. I'm wearing my pajamas right now, and I will be until we get a verdict. Once this stream ends, I'm gonna go and get prepared for the day. But while we're going now, then we'll keep up to date with all of the latest news, whatever's going on. So let's head back to the timeline. And sort of see what we've got here. I think if I refresh it, it should go to the show latest tweet setting, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Michael gave a big kiss from me. So yeah, this is most recent thing we've heard. So this is the most recent thing we've heard.
And there's Max.
Your bread
and
pizza,
Lando.
I remember
Are we
the
all
bread
friends,
pizzas.
lads? Do we think it's going to be okay? Pole's okay?
Always friends.
Do you think Pole's going to be all right?
It's just when you're in the car, right? Once you see every onboard, makes all more sense.
They got the whole picture then, the stewards.
They have everything, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, good luck with it, Max.
So good, yeah, saying that stewards have
Coming
the
up
whole
with stewards.
picture, and yeah, there we go. So we'll see what ends up happening now. We'll see what ends up happening in probably a few minutes' time. I don't think it's gonna take too long. You wouldn't think. No, Mikey, no. Yeah, no. Let's not go back to that. Let's not go back to that. I mean, that was a phenomenal stream, but let's not go back to that. Did I try bread pizza? I've not tried bread pizza. No, I never ended up trying. If you want to send over recipes, go for it. A related question, but how's your mental health? Doing phenomenal. I've always very jolly. Top 10 prediction, please. So for tomorrow, I'll go top 3. I'll go top 3 predictions. If Max doesn't get a penalty, I think he'll run away with the race. I think it shouldn't be a problem. The Red Bull looks like it's got loads of race pace. Every race this season, it's been really strong in the race. Then probably second, Charles. Third, Carlos. Max could wrap up the championship very easily this weekend. But that's if I had to do a podium. But let's say Max gets a penalty. I am not 100% certain he'll be able to fight his way up to the podium positions. It is hard to race on this track. And yes, that car's rapid. It is a very, very quick car. It's got the straight line speed. But it's not going to be easy to fight up to a podium. If he gets a 5-place grid drop, let's say, it won't be easy. And if he only gets a 5th place, actually, he'll probably end up 3rd. But, you know, let's say he won't. But let's say he got a 10-place grid drop, which, again, won't happen here. Then he wouldn't get a podium, definitely. You just can't fight that high up in Suzuka. It's such a hard track to overtake on. My top 3, Max if he ain't got a penalty, Charles and Alonso. Yeah, I mean, that Alpine's got some pretty good pace, hasn't it? Fun fact, someone made a song with no, Mikey, no. That was so not right. I have it as my ringtone. That is phenomenal. How do you think Nick will do next year? I think it'll be really interesting with Nick, because for me, he's a real unknown. You know, he's not a young driver. He's not a young driver at all. So, yeah, that'll be fun to see. It'll be really fun to see how Nick turns out, gets him in an F1 season. Best of luck to him. Him and Tsunoda might be a pretty close battle at the end of the day. Do I think Red Bull passing the cap last season played a major factor in Max's win? Well, it would. It depends what they spent that money on. Let's say if they gave massive staff bonuses out for the people working at the team, then no. But if that money was, let's say they put $10 million into upgrades or something, then yeah, that's probably what clinched the championship at the end of the day. Because any extra upgrade you can get on, especially with how close of a season last year was on performance between the top 2 teams, massive bonus. So yeah, we'll see what the FIA come out with. But ultimately, yeah, like we've seen, there's a couple of team bosses who aren't at the track this weekend. So maybe they are discussing the cost cap and what potential penalties could be dished out and how they'll deal with it to the public and so on. This is important. Am I a pineapple on pizza guy or not? Subscription is on the line. Can I solve this problem by saying I don't particularly enjoy pizza, and I realise that may annoy more people than it pleases. I don't know why, I'm just not a massive fan of pizza. Never really have been. Are you streaming on Monday for FIA thing? If we get a time, yes. I might be able to get some in, but hopefully it's in the evening, because I have got a 9 till 5 practical session at uni. So that might be a challenge. I'll probably like tweet about it or anything. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, I'll put my thoughts up or something if it comes out in the middle of the day. But if we get a time and it happens to be in the evening, then yeah, absolutely on Monday we'll go ahead and stream it. And you know what? Even if a penalty happens, once I come back, we can do like a 1 hour stream just discussing it. So yeah, I'll try to get stream out anyway. Hi from New Zealand. How are you doing, Julie? How are you doing? If Mercedes spent more time sorting their car this year instead of whining, they could be up there fighting for the title. I don't know, I think with the cost cap, Mercedes have done all they can this year, to be honest. It's not the days of old where they can just all start out developing each other. It just doesn't work like that anymore. Whether you think that's a good thing or not, who knows? Who knows? I'll send you a tweet with the bread pizza. Thank you. Thank you. I'll have a look. I'll have a look. Cheers from Brazil. Hello, Renato. How are you doing? Hi from India. Unrelated question. What would you say is the greatest Formula 1 performance you have seen? Can be qualifying or race or whatever. God, that's tricky. That's tricky. My favourite race in terms of comeback is Canada 2011. I'm not sure I'd say it's the greatest in F1 history, but that's my personal favourite. So if I had to push for one, also because I'm just an absolute simp for Jenson Button, unapologetically. Do you think Russell will end higher in the championship standings than Hamilton? Actually, what's the points difference now? Because Russell has a pretty healthy lead over Lewis, doesn't he? You know, Lewis is going to need some pretty strong performances to pull that back. Do you think F1 will be back in India? I'm not sure, because it's a good market for F1 to try to expand into, but I think the interest has to be there before a race gets there. Because obviously that's sort of what they tried to do before, and it just didn't work. I'm on a cruise with the team bosses, explains their absence. Well, that would, yeah. Even if Lewis wins races, he won't overtake him. No, yeah, the points gap's 33 points between Russell and Hamilton. I can't see that happening. Yeah, I can't, unfortunately, see that happening anymore. What was your reaction on Seb saying thank you to Suzuka? It's amazing, wasn't it? It's really good to see, and it shows, you know, emotionally he is still very much invested, and he is going to miss. He's going to miss the sport. Lewis's time is numbered. I don't know. I mean, Lewis, well, according to Toto, Lewis said he can do another 5 more years. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. Let's take a little update here, see if anything has come out. Nope, still nothing. We had the summons, and that was it. So the summons was for breaching Article 33.4, which, if you've just tuned in, is at no time may a car be driven unnecessarily slowly, erratically, or in a manner which could be deemed potentially dangerous to other drivers or any other person. And you can say slowly, yes. Erratically, I mean, he's lost control of a car. It's not his fault. He's, you know, got cold rear end, cold rear tyres, just lost control of the rear. And dangerous, yes. You know, it sort of meets all of the criteria for what could be given as a penalty. So yeah, Max, it'll either be a reprimand or like a 5-place grid drop, I'd imagine. I can't see it being any more than that. That would seem pretty harsh. What's this going on? I assume this is something going on at the track. What's this? Oh, Seb coming past after he'd finished his lap. That's nice to see. Lando Norris thinks Max Verstappen should be getting a penalty at Suzuka after their Q3 incident. So yeah, Lando came out. Yeah, what he did is something he cannot do. By trying to pass me, you create that kind of problem. And honestly, I think they're both right. You know, Lando was going back his warm-up in a different way to Max. You know, he's winding into his lap in just a different way to what Max was. And that's where the problems come from. Max wasn't expecting it. Lando, there was a gap. You know, there's a gap on the left-hand side the whole time here. At this point, Lando's thinking, oh, brilliant, he's left a gap, I'm going to go through. And then Max gets that snap of oversteer when he gets on the throttle, loses the rear end, and that's where the problem starts. If he loses control, yeah, exactly, yeah, that's the thing. And that's why he could well get a penalty, because he has lost control of the car. Friendship is done. I don't know, they seem pretty chill in their little... when Ted saw them. They seemed pretty alright. I don't know, I wouldn't say there's like too much tension there, because if this was the middle of a championship, really close championship like last year, then yes, it would get a little bit strained. But at the end of the day, they, you know, at the end of the day, Max has got the championship. If he gets a 5-place grid drop, oh well, whatever. It really doesn't matter. Max is going to be champion at the end of this year. Oh god, all of these bots coming in. That's quite annoying. I think Vettel will be P5. What do you think? I don't think in race pace, unless it's wet tomorrow, then maybe there's an outside chance. But in race pace, I don't think Aston Martin will be as strong. They'll probably still get points, especially if it's wet. I think Seb's a shoo-in for points if it's wet. Hi, hope you're having a good day. Thank you so much, Reese Bates. Thank you. I am having a great day. A great morning so far. Sent the recipe. Thank you for that. I'll have a look at that. When are you having a giveaway? We will do a giveaway. We're 100% going to do a giveaway at some point. Should we do like a 15k giveaway or something? We'll do like a big giveaway for 15k, something along those lines. Which team do I support, and who is my GOAT of F1? So I am a McLaren fan. Always have been. On my wall above me right now, I have a poster of the 2011 McLaren. That car was my spirit animal. It was amazing. Oh, thank you. Is Jenny Gao put up a tweet? Let's take a look at that. Jenny Gao. Reprimand for... Okay, so here we go. We've got decisions. Let's go to the FIA document. It is a reprimand for Max Verstappen. Reprimand for Max Verstappen, which I'm sort of surprised by. Reprimand for Verstappen after his infringement with Norris in the final part of qualifying. So it's pole number 5 of the season. And that's ridiculous, isn't it? He's only had 5 poles this year. Pole number 5 of the season for the Red Bull driver. Think he'll be a 2-time... Well, he will now. He will now. I'm going to be really honest here. I'm surprised that's just a reprimand. If it was on a lap, it would have been, slam dunk. Very clear, very severe penalty. I'm surprised that's only a reprimand, because for me, I'd say that's probably it's a pretty clear breach of that rule. So yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that, actually, bit surprised. But let's bring that up on screen. Reprimand for Verstappen after his infringement with Norris. And we'll wait for the statement to come out from the FIA, because this explanation is going to be really interesting to hear. Right, what do you guys make of that? Just reprimand, lol, FIA coming for Verstappen fan. Yeah, Max, look, I've seen a lot of Max fans on Twitter agree with this as well, so I don't want it to come across as, like, biased, but a lot of decisions do go quite favourably for him. Like, I will still stand by Brazil last year. That's such a clear penalty. Any driver on the grid does that for me. That's such a clear penalty. But yeah, I've seen it. I'm only saying that because I've seen a lot of Max fans say it as well. Obviously, that is the default position of Hamilton and Ferrari fans, but I've seen a lot of Max fans say that as well, so I don't think I'm being too unbiased in agreeing with it. Do you see yourself having a career in F1, and what team? I don't know, honestly. I don't know if I would want to... I've always wanted to work in F1, but I don't know if I actually want to. It's quite a tricky one. Have we got the document now? Has the document come out? I'll see if it's on here. Here we go. Right. So let's take a look at this. The document is out. So let's look at what the FIA have used as an explanation here. So the stewards, having received a report from the race director, summoned document 2728 and heard from the driver and team representative of Max Verstappen. Breach of Article 33.4, which again, for full context, is that no time may a car be driven unnecessarily slowly, erratically, or in a manner which could be deemed potentially dangerous to other drivers or any other person. So we see reprimand. So that was the decision of driving reprimand. Drives first reprimand of the season, so it means nothing. He's not going to get, a qualifying ban or anything. So the stewards heard from the driver of car 1 and car 4, which is Verstappen and Norris, and team representatives, and reviewed video and timing evidence. I mean, what timing evidence do you need? Just watch the video. The driver of car 1 was aware of car 55 in front and car 4 approaching from behind, and decided to accelerate at precisely the same time as car 4 decided to overtake. What? I think Lando at this point had decided the overtake was on, and then Max gets on the throttle here. Okay, I'm not 100% sure that's right, but we'll roll with it. Okay, so unfortunately, due to lack of tyre temperature on car 1, the driver temporarily lost control of the car, causing it to snap anti-clockwise. Which, yeah, okay, that's right, but that's not unfortunately or anything. That's the driver's fault, is it not? The driver of car 4 stated that this was simply an unfortunate incident. However, it is the driver's responsibility to all times maintain... Yeah, okay, so Lando, I agree with him there. Regarding penalty, all previous breaches of this nature have resulted in a reprimand, hence a similar penalty is imposed in this case. Competitors are reminded they have the right to appeal, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, there we go. So they're citing it based on the past, which, I mean, honestly, I can't bring up many examples off the top of my head of when we've had Article 33.4 being used. But I think this is a more severe breach of it. That's the sort of closest we've got to a big crash from it. For a while, at least. But it's in that one, Abu Dhabi was gets back. Yeah, that one was as well. No, you're right there. Verstappen was doing 60 mile an hour max, not look at his mirrors, and jumps on the throttle to block him penalty. Well, it wasn't a penalty. That's the thing. We haven't got a penalty. So it is a reprimand. So we have got a reprimand for Max. Is FIA high? I'm not sure. I don't know. For me, this is a more severe breach of some of the ones we've seen before. Yeah. I don't. I feel like the previous ones they're talking about. Where is it? Here it is. When they say in previous breaches, but I don't think there's been one that's really been as severe as this. So I don't know. I mean, as long as they're consistent in the future by following it in that way. But I think if you're forcing another car off the track in the process, I don't know. For me, I think it should be more strict. But oh well. It's one of those things of any decision is going to annoy a certain group of people. So we won't get too bogged down on it. It's hella dangerous. Yeah, that's my main thing. Is it was very dangerous. And it was I don't know if he did it on purpose, then it probably would be a penalty. But no, I don't know. I just think if you don't give a penalty for that, what would you give a penalty for? That's what sort of thing. Under that breach, obviously, if you start punting people, then yeah, that's gonna be a very separate penalty. But in this rule, I don't know. What do you guys think of it? This isn't a penalty. Isn't penalty mode, and it's like this. Norris last week, Hamilton in the past, and so on. Yeah, but I think most of those should be penalties as well. So I guess I think I'm just really strict when it comes to penalties. If a driver forces someone off the track and so on, I think I'm just more on the harsh end of what penalties should be. Actually, to be honest. RaceBeacon, I don't think anyone would risk danger of life. No, that's what I mean. It was by no means on purpose. No means. This wasn't, at least. But no, some drivers would deliberately force others off track. That has happened before. You go back to decades gone in Formula 1. People have deliberately crashed into people. And when the sport was more dangerous, that was a risk to life. You won't get it these days too much, I don't think. There should be a penalty. Should be free place. I think free place penalty. That's what I would have gone with as a steward. I think 5 place probably too harsh, but 3 place is a pretty minor penalty. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just more on the harsh end of penalties, and yeah, I don't know. It's just a warning. So yeah, we got a reprimand. We got a reprimand for Verstappen, but it doesn't matter because it's only his first reprimand of the season, so there's no real penalty there unless he picks up another. 2 more, 3 more? Actually, did they up it to 4? I think they upped it for 4 for this season because a couple of drivers got quite close to it last year. They're just waiting for an airplane crash. Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't clamp down on these, it's a bit like the cost cap. I want a really severe penalty for even a minor breach of cost cap, just to clamp down on it, so the teams make sure it never happens again. I say 3 place he's going to win. Yeah, no, he probably will. I don't doubt that for a second. If he starts 4th, he probably still wins the race. But I think given the incident, 3 places would have been fair. I'm going to take a look at the poll again. So what did you guys make in the end? So we've got a majority of yes at 62%. With the gap between yes, I am a Max fan being... Oh, wow. So yeah, even most Max fans said it should be a penalty. So, yeah, I think that gives you an insight into sort of how... Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a difference, and this is why I did the poll in this way, is so that we could just sort of get an insight on sort of bias with these kind of questions. So yeah, people are obviously more likely, but only by 4%, that's within margin of error of 3,200 votes, Jesus. But if he spun around, the tyres would have been ruined, then no one would say it'd be a penalty. If he spun around, he'd have collected Lando, and that, again, I'd say probably would be a penalty because he's lost control of the car. If he spun around by himself and forced Lando off, then yeah, it probably wouldn't be a penalty. You're right, because it would be viewed that he took a penalty with the spin. So yeah, you're right in that sense. Maybe there's only the debate of him having a penalty because he ended up on pole and never really lost out from it, especially only getting a reprimand. So yeah, good point. This chat's full of tears. I want Vettel to win just one more race. Do you think he can? Look, I would love it more than anything as well. I think it'd be amazing to see him win another race, but it's just not going to happen. In that car, it's not quick enough. I'd love it to happen, though. It'd be brilliant to watch. Do you think Mercedes will get a race win this year? At the start of the season, even seeing how bad they were, I thought they must pick up one lucky win somewhere, but I don't think it's going to happen anymore. I can't see a track where they're quicker than the Ferraris and Red Bull. Wait, did he get a penalty or not? You keep changing what you're saying. No, so he didn't get a penalty. No, he got a reprimand. So he's had a reprimand. I was saying he hasn't got a penalty because he ended up on pole anyway. That's sort of where the penalty came back into it. So yeah, he got a reprimand, a driving reprimand. Let's go over the reasoning just again. So driver car 1 was aware of car 55 in front, which makes no difference at all for me. Like, that's why he's going slower. So I guess, okay, so I guess that's their point of saying he's not driving unnecessarily slowly because Carlos Sainz was in front. But Carlos was quite far ahead, so I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I mean, look, Carlos is gone. He's not here. So, I'm not sure that point really works. And car 4 approaching from behind decided to accelerate precisely the same time as car 4. I really... That's... I don't know where they're getting that from. Because Lando, at this point, has decided he's going to overtake. He can see how slowly Max is going. He's full throttle going to start a lap here. So, I don't accept that. I don't accept that. But the bit I will accept more is that it was an unfortunate incident. However, it's driver's responsibility to all times maintain. That's spot on for me. Maintain control of your own car. Regard penalty, and this I won't dispute either. All previous breaches of this nature have resulted in a reprimand. But the mitigating factor for me is this, I think, is a more severe breach. So maybe if you're going to give a penalty for it at some point, it would be for this. So now I'm sort of like... You're sort of sitting there going, like, if this isn't a penalty, then can you get a penalty under this rule? Because maybe in the future, drivers might think, oh, well, if I block off someone starting their lap, you know, because they're not on a hot lap, it doesn't matter. You know, if they're trying to overtake me, I'll shove them off the track a bit, make a little, oops, my foot slipped, and do that on purpose sort of thing, to try to gain an advantage or cause a yellow or something. So that's the thing for me. You can get bad eggs who will try to bend those rules knowing they can only get a reprimand. And again, that goes back to why I want a strict penalty for the budget cap, is because it stops people doing it in the future. They're completely put off from doing it in the future. He sped up for the upcoming fast lap. Yeah, yeah. What was Hamilton's helmet? I'm not sure. Actually, I haven't seen Hamilton's helmet too much this weekend. But the incident in Brazil between Williams and Lewis Hamilton was also not penalised. That's quite... Yeah, again, I thought that should have been a penalty. You know, it's yeah. I think, honestly, I think what I'm learning is I'm just more strict on penalties than the FIA on a very consistent basis. And yes, there is a gentleman's agreement. There absolutely is, you're spot on. But the FIA cannot take that into account. There's nothing in the rulebook that relates to this gentleman's agreement. So it shouldn't have an impact in this case. Everybody knows Mazepin will win the championship. Yeah, you know, he's a shoo-in. He's absolutely, he's sorted. 100% champion. Where are all of these bots coming from? Right, how do we block all of these? Hide user from channel. There we go. Brilliant. Love all the bots. You speed up after the chicane, not before. Yeah, that's a bit that just seems odd to me. But Lando is going for... He's trying to approach with more tyre temperature to start his lap. And that is actually a thing. You know, the teams with less downforce... less efficient downforce packages like a McLaren, Alpine, you know, Williams, Haas, Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, so on. They have to have more tyre temp going into their lap because they can't turn it on as well as, let's say, Red Bull and Ferrari and Mercedes can throughout the course of the lap because they have more efficient downforce. So, yeah, it makes sense. What team have different starting point for the fast lap? I'm not sure. Honestly, it's weird that Russell didn't get a penalty for the Mick incident. Yeah, I was so... Again, that's a slam dunk. I don't get why the FIA keep letting so much go. I just don't understand, because that is a clear penalty for George last weekend at Singapore. That's a clear penalty. He's cut across the line under braking, and they've made contact. I think the FIA have tried to simplify the rules, but in doing so, removing all of the nuance and actual analysis, they've sort of ruined it a bit. They have sort of ruined it a bit. I'm a Leclerc fan, but to be honest, that could have ended bad if Norris didn't. Yeah, no, absolutely. If Norris didn't react in time, that could have been an airplane crash. Because the pace difference between the two is massive. It's massive. Type of guy to drive into you on a straight and blame the other driver. Most drivers would, to be honest. So that's, I don't blame George for that. If any driver, and I've been go-karting where I've had crashes that are my fault, and I've gone, what the hell were you thinking after the race? And then they sort of explain it, and I'm like, no. And deep down, you know it's your fault, but especially in the heat of the moment, you won't admit it. You're not going to admit it. You're absolutely right. Also, even Crofty said Russell should. Yeah, he so clearly should have got a penalty for it. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think it should have been a pretty clear penalty. Thank you, Ashik, for subscribing as well. I do. I try to keep an eye on everyone subscribing, but obviously when it comes up with every new sub, it's quite hard to keep track of when I'm also reading the chat. Just saying, most of their Max fans are prob. Sad Lewis fans can't go for 2021. I mean, maybe there's nothing. We can't police who votes what on the poll. Do you think Mick will keep his seat? I don't know. After his crash yesterday, I'm not so sure. But who do they bring in? Do Haas have a viable replacement for him? I don't know. If anyone has any good suggestions that are realistic, go for it. What Max do? What's on screen right now? So that's what he did. But he has been given a reprimand. So Max Verstappen has been given a reprimand. So no penalty, no significant penalty that's going to impact his race. It's his first one of the year, so there's no qualifying bans, race bans, anything along those lines. It is just a nice, simple penalty. Well, not even a penalty, but I think it's technically a penalty in like a warning. But yeah, it's a warning. Let's sum it up like that. I think that's the easiest way to go about it. I'm not a Lewis fan, but what happened last season was BS from the FIA. I mean, they've admitted to that themselves now, so I guess I agree because they've said so themselves. Romain Grosjean instead for Mick. We are not going to see Romain Grosjean back in an F1 car, unfortunately. That is, look, he's old now. He's not a young driver anymore. He's had his career. As someone who plays... Oh, sorry, what was that? As someone who plays football? What was that? As someone who plays football, lol. I understand blaming the other driver. I say it's my ball. No matter what happens, it makes it... Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. In the heat of a moment when you're playing a sport, you'll say and do things that you look back on it and go, why the hell did I do that? It's the heat of the moment. It's the adrenaline. You say what you're thinking. You say whatever your first thought is. So I don't blame drivers when they come over the radio. I love to hear it because it shows they're passionate. It shows they care about what they're doing. They care about their skill. They want to be good. So yeah, I'll never complain about that. Do you think Mick was going to be higher in qualifying if he was in all practice sessions? I don't think so. I don't think he really lost out because there wasn't any dry running. If we have a wet race tomorrow, though, which there's a hint that it could be, there could be some rain in the air tomorrow. Whether or not it hits the track, that's something we're not sure of yet. But there's a chance of rain in the race tomorrow that he could suffer from. Also, be interested today to see if any of the teams went for a more, wet-based strategy. It seems like that's more what Aston Martin have gone. They've gone for a wet setup in their car. Because Sebastian Vettel was saying, yeah, we've got the massive rear wing on, so in the rain, that could help us quite a bit. And he's not wrong. I mean, you don't expect Seb to be wrong. He's got enough experience. Max, I've got the FIA in my pocket. Honestly, look, and this is purely hypotheticals. If Red Bull get away really lightly, if it actually is them, and if they actually did break the budget cap, if they get away really lightly, anyone, actually, same goes for Aston Martin. If they're the ones who majorly or even minor breach rules, we need severe penalties, especially for the budget cap. That's meant to be the grand equaliser. If you just give away a small fine, then the bigger teams are just going to keep cheating, effectively, because they can afford to pay a $10 million fine at the expense of getting $10 million extra funding on their car. They can afford that. They'll do it. Yeah, but when budget cap comes out, we might do a stream on Monday, depending on what the news is. And we can have a bit of a chat about it, so we'll have a look at whatever happens there. Obviously, I can't do it between 9 and 6, half 6 UK time, because I am at uni the whole day. I have got a full block day. So yeah, any content comes out, hopefully they delay it again from Monday, to be honest. That'd be quite nice. And then they say 7 o'clock on Tuesday we're going to be doing the announcement, in which case we will 100% be live for that. There's no question. Just fine for budget cap. That would be a joke. Yeah, if that's what I mean. If they come down with something like that, again, I don't care what team this is. If it's Mercedes, if it's McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, Aston Martin, I don't care. If it's just a fine, if it's not a big sporting penalty, that for me, that's not on at all. That's not on at all. Is Verstappen better this season than Hamilton his season in 2020? It's tricky because is it a case of Checo's not been very good, or does the car suit Max perfect? I think there's so many factors that go along with it. I don't like comparing season to season. I'm not a fan of doing that because there's no way of knowing for sure. It's pure speculation. So Max has had a good year. He's had a really good year. He's been so consistent. Barely made any mistakes apart from this one. So yeah, he's been really, really solid. He's done a great job. What penalty for Verstappen? No penalty in the end. It is a reprimand. I was going to change the title and stuff, but we'll probably only keep going for a few more minutes, so I decided I couldn't be bothered. So yeah, it was a reprimand for Max Verstappen. In the end, he just got a reprimand for... oops, why did it do that? There we go. For this incident with Lando Norris. I think, personally, it should have been a free place grid drop. But, if the FIA say that, and if in the future they stick by that, then fair enough, I guess. Obviously, well, we're telling people to shut up. Who do we need to shut up? Who are we shutting? Will Toto Bonotto be sued for defamation if Red Bull don't break cap? Well, Red Bull have threatened it, haven't they? They've said it's a possibility of something they'll look at. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? That would be a really interesting legal case. Yeah, that would be fun. You deserve so much more subs, man. You're so good. That is why I subscribe. Oh, thank you so much, Black Michael. Thank you so much. You know what? I agree. And if you haven't yet subscribed and you're watching this stream, and even if you don't want to watch one in the future, make that little number go up because it brings a smile to my face. But thank you so much. Even if he gets a grid penalty, he will still... Yeah, no, he would. If he got a free place grid drop, he's still winning the race. He's still winning that race. Smash a like. Yeah, actually, yeah, there we go as well. Let's try to get to 200 likes before we round off the stream. So that's just 33 more likes. If we can get to 200 before we round off the stream, that is a very good number. So yeah, any more questions, guys? Absolutely send them my way. If not, we'll start sort of, wind up the stream here. Because we've been going for an hour and 10 minutes. That has gone so quickly. Just found you, subs. Oh, thank you so much, Gemma. Thank you so much. I think this is one of those things where we'll feel same way about it now, but unfortunately not cared. Oh yeah, no, that's everything though, isn't it? That's everything. Any big controversy that happens, it's the most important thing in the world for 2 days, and then everyone moves on with their lives. Which is why the fallout from Abu Dhabi has been so big for the FIA. It stayed around. The Hamilton fans on Twitter are absolutely keeping going with it. And yeah, they're aware it's still a problem with large chunks of the fan base. So yeah, FIA might want to be careful about that. We're now on 184 likes, so just 16 more likes to go until we hit 200. The other day, Max close to crashed to Lando. Yeah, no, very close. Yeah, no, he did with Singapore as well, didn't he? Max 100% deserved a penalty, definitely in most. Yeah, anything more than a 5-place grid drop would have been way too severe. I would have gone a 3-place grid drop for this. It's a minor incident, but it's potentially something really dangerous, and it was Max's fault. So, no one's going to complain about a penalty for that. Yeah, but Hamilton fans are out of touch with reality. Yeah, some of them on Twitter are. Some of them, I have seen some very unhinged tweets. But that's from every fan base. You have people who are just so passionate that they say things that probably in 5 years' time they'll look back and go, "Oh, why did I say that?" sort of thing. When did I start YouTube streaming? Last October, there or thereabouts. We had about 100 subscribers. I thought, you know what, let's do some streams, talk about real life F1. And by the end of the year, we were on, by the start of this season, we were on like 10k, which has just been, the growth was absolutely mental. And we would have been a lot higher now if it wasn't for the Twitch deal. But honestly, trust me, the Twitch deal was worth it. As a student who needs money, the Twitch deal was worth it. So yeah, I won't complain about that. But yeah, we could easily be on like 20,000 subscribers now if I didn't stop streaming to do the Twitch deal. But again, like I say, oh well. Do you open a chat during the race, Twitch or YouTube? No, I don't tend to. I did used to live stream the races on Twitch, but the only reason I did that was to sort of hit the minimum hours we needed. But No, I tend to prefer just watching the race with my family, because it's something that I've always done. Most of my family are all F1 fans, so we all sort of sit around and watch the race together. So, yeah, like I say, it'd be good, and I appreciate people would like to see that, because, people on Twitch did watch us doing that. But for me, to watch F1, like, I enjoy it more watching it with my family and so on, so that's what I'll keep doing. But yeah, after the races and stuff, we'll get onto it. Any comment on Stroll's recent performance? I don't know. Wait and see him against Alonso. I think that'd be the ultimate gauge. If he can hold his own against Fernando Alonso at Aston Martin, even though it's an old Alonso, then fair enough. Fair enough to him. But yeah, I would bet on him beating Alonso. I'm the only viewer in my house, bit lonely. Right, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, I'm so lucky to have that, where I have loads of people who enjoy watching Formula, and a good chunk of my friend group I've either got into Formula 1 or Drive to Survive got them into Formula 1 as well, so I'm really lucky that I have people around to enjoy talk about the sport, and that's why I enjoy, doing these streams with so many people. It's because it's a chance to talk about Formula 1 with everyone, so yeah, I really enjoy it. RaceBeacon, the best moment was GoTV taking the wrong turn and blaming the car. That was amazing. That might be one of the funniest things I've ever seen happen on an F1 track. That was amazing. It's like, something happened with the car. Yeah, guys, that was weird, wasn't it? Huh, why did it do that? Bring back JB. Yes, absolutely. Go back to watching TTS. In general, people with the maddest ideas and opinions get the most light and attention, so that's all we see. Absolutely, yeah. Because other fan bases will get those tweets and go, haha, look how unhinged these people are. And that's where it spreads. The loudest people are always the most unhinged people. Yeah, and then they get a following because other people somehow agree with them. And that has always been a thing in the world. It's not just Twitter, it's not just Formula 1 chat. Global politics, the loudest, most insane people tend to get the biggest followings. So, when you look through history, that's just how it happens. You get a name for yourself, you get a following. I mean, I could sit here and just start spouting some absolute rubbish that, like, just Hamilton, just Verstappen, just Ferrari fans would agree with. And that's, yeah, I can't do that. I literally cannot do it. It hurts too much. 5 p.m. Japan time is 9 a.m. UK. Yeah, so that's all happened. So we had a reprimand for Max Verstappen. So yeah, if anyone hasn't... Oh, sorry, where is it? There we go. So yeah, we got a reprimand for Max Verstappen for the incident with Lando Norris. We're just sort of rounding off the stream now. And yeah, and then, I don't know. Well, I might be able to get a live stream in tomorrow if anything interesting happens. If we've got any penalties post-race, then I guess I'll come live again. And we can wait for something. So hopefully we have a pretty dramatic race. That'll be fun. Lol already had it. Do we know when? Yes, so yeah, we had the verdict. Yeah, sorry. Are you on other social media platforms? So the only one I have set up for RaceBeacon is the Twitter. So we have at RaceBeacon TV. I'm looking at getting an Instagram set up as well, where we'll sort of like post, I don't know, like the funniest F1 memes I find and things from my life, related to whatever I'm doing. So I'll look at getting an Instagram set up as well. But for the moment, it is just the Twitter with at RaceBeacon TV. So if you do want to give us a follow on there, feel more than free to. Discord link, yes, actually Discord link as well. So for the 300 people or so that's still here, if you haven't joined our Discord server, where we have 730 members, then I'm going to get the link right now. I'm going to pin it as the top comment in the chat. So if you want to join our Discord server with, like I said, over 700 other people, let me pin the message. There we go. So if you haven't joined a Discord server yet and you'd like to, we have any updates on like whatever's going on in my life, and just talk about F1 fantasy as well we have on there. So if you want to join our Discord server, the link is pinned in the comments in the chat. So there you go. Russell and Lewis never get penalised. Yeah, they don't either. It seems like the top teams do have an element of immunity. It's like the debate we have with VAR in football. It seems like the top teams never get the same penalties as smaller teams. Yeah, I know. I don't know if there's this bit of protectionism for like the top people. But yeah. Imagine Max winning and Charles P2 stealing the fast lap at the last. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? That would be really interesting. But that would guarantee Max a championship. Like at that point, he's just got to get like 1 point from the whole rest of the season, and Leclerc would have to win everything. So yeah. Leclerc will not finish in top 2. He could well not. He could well not. They'll find a way to mess up the strategy. You can trust him. That's Ferrari. How do you think Gasly will do at Alpine? It'll be... I don't know. I think Ocon might beat him, because I think Gasly might be a little bit overrated, because he's in an AlphaTauri that I think last year was actually quite strong, but both of the drivers I think underperformed a little bit. So I'm not too sure. I think Ocon might have the edge on Gasly over the course of a year. But hopefully we get... Oh, we're 1 like short of 200. So if you haven't liked yet, smash that like button and you can be the 200th. There we go. We have 200 likes. Thank you guys. That was a good goal. If I pushed that when we had about 1,300 or whatever watching, then we probably could have got to 1k, but oh well. What have we got? That being said, I don't hate Hamilton and legit hope Hamilton wins a couple of races this year. It's boring when it's a curb stop. Yeah, that's the thing. Ultimately, I don't care who wins. I just want to see loads of different people winning. I want a 2012 year again, which, I think these regulations can provide. I think that's possible with these regulations to get another really dramatic, up-in-the-air year. Think, in Q2, at one point, you had the top 9 separated by 0.3 of a second. This is the first year of new regulations. We have the most spec parts we've ever had on cars. We've got the budget cap. They're inevitably going to converge on one design philosophy for these cars in a couple of years' time. And it won't end up like a spec series, but everyone will have very similar parts on their car through their design, and they'll make similar developments, go down similar routes, and it's going to be amazing. I really think 2025, 2026... could be great. They could be absolutely brilliant seasons. It could be the closest we've ever seen Formula 1 racing. And fingers crossed that's what we see. Fingers crossed. I might still be around for that. Who knows? Depends how well the YouTube stuff does over the next couple of years. might hang around. What was it? I'm pretty sure the most expensive car on the grid will win tomorrow. Yeah, the one that costs more than the budget cap. Peculiar. Oh, I love conspiracy theories. It's good fun. I think the cars are too big and too much downforce for good racing. Oh, they are. The cars are way too big and they're way too heavy. I would like to see less downforce. I'd like to see longer braking zones with less downforce. Yeah, honestly, I think the key to better racing... when was the last time we had a good, proper dive bomb? 2010 to 2014 was full of dive bombs. It was amazing. Everyone just sending it, overtaking sideways, locking the rears on entry. It was great. The cars are too heavy. There's too much downforce now. We can't get that anymore. Everyone's braking at the same point on the track. And yeah, I am not a fan of the way F1's gone over the last couple of years. No, you're right there. You're fully right. Just joined Discord. Brilliant. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, I can see a few people have joined, actually. So, yeah, if you want to join our Discord server, we have, like I say, about 730-odd other people in there. So, yeah, it's a great way to have a chat with other F1 fans, get latest update. We post, news stuff in there. And, yeah, overall, it's just pretty chill place to have a chat. I miss the early 2010s. I know, it was amazing. I'm so annoyed that I was sort of too young to appreciate how good that era was, because I was only between 10 and 15 years old when all of that was happening. So for me, that was always what F1's been, but God, the last few years has been pretty poor. We were lucky to have a good championship race last year, but the amount of times I said, thank God we're getting rid of these regulations, because the racing just wasn't that great. The battle was good. The idea of the battle was great. Oh, thank you for the sub as well, BMS Olex. Thank you so much. Yeah, the racing last year was still poor. We had a great battle for the championship, but God, were some of those races dull. You think Hamilton will ever be an 8-time world champion? I mean, I don't know. When the budget cap announcement comes out on Monday, he might be. Who knows? But no, in all seriousness, I think Lewis might just keep going for as long as he possibly can to try to win another championship. He doesn't need the money, obviously, but with how much he's getting paid, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you keep going just to try to win another championship? A V10 era was insane. It so was. It so was. Formula 1 is focused on making the cars lighter now. So, yeah, absolutely. And actually, I think the engines might be lighter. No, the engines will be heavier in the next regulations, aren't they? Because they're doing more with the battery power. Welp, whoop, whoop-de-doo. Who wants heavier cars, guys? It's always fun. Mark my words, Lewis will never win a race. I'm not sure on that. Think he's been close to a couple this year, and you'd think by sheer luck, if he hangs around for another 2 or 3 years, is going to happen eventually. It's got to happen eventually. Same with, George. F1 is focused on making cars heavier. I don't know why. The thing is, they seem like such obvious fixes from the outside, but for some reason the FIA just don't want to pursue it. They don't want to go down the route. It's weird. It's weird. He will win races, but he won't win enough. He might not win enough championship. I don't know. If Mercedes rock up with the quickest car next year, Lewis, I think, is back on form after what was a really tough time last year. He came into this season, I think, a bit dejected, and I think he had lost a bit of pace. But he's now out-qualified George 8-2 over the last 10 races, so I think he's back on form now. And if you give him a quick enough car, yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason he can't win another championship. If he has the best car next year, why not? Why not? I reckon he'll be a championship contender next year. I hope that. I honestly hope Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari are all about even on pace, and we have a better year next year. Because this year, there's been a bit of toing and froing from Red Bull and Ferrari, but it seemed like one or the other were quicker at each track. That they just have different strengths. So if you add Mercedes into that mix, that hopefully will mean you've sort of got two teams in contention at every race, rather than just one team at each race, because they've each got different strengths. The car will be back in form, not Lewis. Dude is only a front runner. You say that though, but like I said, he's back on form now. He's doing, he's out-qualified George 8-2 in the last 10 races. So he's back where he needs to be. 3 teams, 6 drivers in the fight would be great. Throw in Renault and McLaren. Yeah, hopefully in a couple of years' time we can throw in Renault and McLaren. Aston Martin as well. I think 3 years down the line, there's a very real possibility. I don't want to say certain because it's not. There's a very real possibility they can be top-end contenders. Still not sure about championship. Not sure if they'll ever really be able to do that without a massive regulation shake-up that they just get perfectly right. But they could be contenders. They definitely can be. The facilities and the staff that they've got now, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Do come on, the car does not have autopilot. You need someone to drive it. Yeah, there's the thing. It's Verstappen versus Leclerc versus Hamilton and Russell versus Sainz versus Perez. Yeah. That probably would be how it turned out. George, one thing I will say about how the points stand between Russell and Hamilton this year, Hamilton should be ahead of George. I might do a video on this at the end of the year. I did the calculations at the start of the season, and even in the first 5 races, there was about a 30-point swing in George's favour, just coming from good luck. Obviously, if you benefit to luck, that's not your fault at all. And we're not going to criticise George because he's benefited from luck. But Hamilton's been really unlucky. Safety cars have come out at the wrong time. He's also made a couple of mistakes. So yeah. It could be a different story. Could definitely be a different story. What about sprint races? You think it's a good idea? I heard there'll be more of them next year. So yeah, apparently there'll be 6. Did Max get a penalty? No, we have this. We have this here. So it's a reprimand. Reprimand for Max in the end for this incident that happened. So yeah, what about sprint races? So my view on sprint races is I really, really enjoy them at the track. The Silverstone weekend 2 years ago, where they had the first ever sprint race, phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. Qualifying on the Friday night when we're already down there, to have a competitive session on each day at the track, it was great. That might be my favourite experience and format of a Silverstone Grand Prix weekend. Obviously, it's a shame F2 and F3 had their stupid 3 races format. That was just ridiculous. So that's a shame. It would have been a perfect weekend. Maybe if you chuck W Series in there as well. I think that's an unbeatable weekend. If you have, at Silverstone, from a fan perspective, if you have Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, W Series, the Porsche Super Cup, and the sprint races in F1, that's an unbeatable weekend. That's unbeatable. F-Mod and F1, let's go back to the 50s. I don't know, I went to the Silverstone Museum and looked at one of the cars that they had from, like, the 50s. What maniac got into that thing? You see the pictures of it and you go, oh yeah, old-timey F1 car. But then you stand next to one and go, what absolute madman decided, let's sit in this and drive over 100 miles an hour, where if you crash, you're going to explode. It's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, that shocked me so much. It's such an experience. FIA is Red Bull, such a shame. No, some of the decisions, have been going... The top teams get decisions go their way, because the FIA, I feel, are scared to make those big decisions. I just think they are. They're scared to change results at the front end of the grid. If it's Alonso in 5th, yeah, they'll hop right on that. Any excuse to penalise a driver 5th to 20th, they seem to hop on it. But as second it's one of the top teams, it's a bit like VAR in football, it feels like sometimes in the Premier League. The top teams get away with more. They get away with a bit more. Obviously not everything, and I'm not saying these teams don't get penalties, they do. But sort of when it's an on-track 50-50 incident, it tends to go their way. And that's something that this was. For me, that's a free place grid penalty. What we're seeing on screen, for me, that's a free place grid penalty. Obviously, didn't turn out that way. But I think if Alonso does that, or Ocon does that to Norris, I think that will end up being a free place grid drop. But because it's the pole sitter, I think they've shied away from doing it. Yeah. What's the update? So it was a reprimand for Max Verstappen. I'll read it again for people who've just joined. The driver of car 1 was aware of car 55 in front, so Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen being car 1, and car 4, Lando Norris, approaching from behind and decided to accelerate at precisely the same time as car 4 decided to overtake, which is a bit I disagree with, because I think at this point here, Lando already knows he's going to have to overtake. Max only gets on the throttle here when he loses the rear end. Lando knows he's overtaking at this point, and then Max does it. So I disagree with the FIA there, but they've cited it that previous breaches of this nature have resulted in a reprimand, hence a similar penalty is imposed in this case. So there we go. That's what the decision was from the FIA. We had the stewards of Mika Salo, Kazuhiro Tsuge. I don't know. Gary Connolly and Felix Holter. So those were the stewards for this weekend, or are the stewards for this weekend. Let's hope they don't do much more control. Actually, I hope they do some controversy tomorrow. We like some controversy. It's good fun. Nothing beats complaining about the sport we love. It's always good fun. I just hope Gemma here isn't making another bad team decision going to Aston Martin. Aston has money and are trying, but Renault... Honestly, I think Alonso's just run out of time. Aston Martin, if you're a 20-year-old driver right now, is a great idea, because they can only get better from where they are with the staff and funding they've got. But Alonso at his age, with 2 or 3 years left, not sure. Not sure if it's the best decision. But, well, no, it probably is the best decision of teams that will have him, to be honest. He wanted a multi-year deal. He wanted security. Aston Martin, if they were the only team who offered him that, they're not a bad prospect. Love to see Portimao come back on the calendar. Such an amazing roller coaster. It wasn't a great racetrack, but it was a joy to watch. It was a joy to watch, definitely. What car has a number 1, 2, and 3 best livery this year? Ooh, that's tricky. Oh, that's really tricky. What livery do I see that makes me go like, oh, I like that? I don't like the Ferrari. I don't like the colour. I don't mind the new McLaren livery that they've got. I don't mind that. Red Bull livery is obviously the same as what it's sort of always been, but it's a nice livery. AlphaTauri is quite neat. Alpine I don't dislike. Aston Martin's the best, because that is the sexiest thing I have ever seen in my life. So they get number 1 in that. But yeah, it's quite hard to make a top 3 actually. Aston Martin again. Yeah, they're phenomenal. That's a phenomenal livery. They did ballast in the kart cars from the 90s, and it helped only a little bit. Even with a lot of ballast, the engines were just... Yeah, exactly, yeah. At that point, didn't have the engines rules set, yeah. No, 2 right there, 2 right. But yes, unless everyone has like... Oh yeah, Williams as well, that's quite a nice one. You're right there. Well, Farhan, and I do agree on something. Yeah, no, it's a lovely livery. Lovely livery. 270, yeah, to cover the share. Yeah, we can show that. Oh no, YouTube's like, oh no, it said a swear word. How horrible. Yeah. But anyway, right. Should we round off? I don't think there's anything else we can really talk about, really. Gemma, too bad Honda and McLaren didn't get it done for Alonso. Yeah, that would have been nice. That would have been good as well. That was just a toxic relationship, really. Oh, the white Red Bull livery, perfect. If they were running that this weekend, I think they actually mocked up a version of it on this year's show car. I saw a picture of it from the paddock, or like a promotional event in Japan. Beautiful. If you thought it looked good on last year's car, try to find that image on this year's car. It looked phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. F1 now, waterfall from sky, you need to stop F1. Yeah, need to stop F1 then, heavens open. Just a little damp, no worries, send them out. Yeah, and, you know, last weekend, that race should have got underway half hour before it actually did. Verstappen receives a reprimand F1 Twitter. I'm looking forward to your claim for your calm and composed thoughts. Reprimand for Verstappen, breaking his reprimand. Yeah, just reprimands. This is 43 minutes ago, so yeah, all these reprimand. Gets a reprimand. There's no one tweeted since this. They're not. Let's take a look at Matt Gallagher's comments. There's a video. While I have this view, Brazil incident with Williams Lewis was also not a pen, but it should have been, in my opinion. If Max would have spun there, and if Lando could have avoided that, Max wouldn't have gotten a penalty because his tyres would have been shot. Oh, actually, wait. Did someone said this in our chat? Is that someone who was in our chat earlier? Reprimand, is that all? Of course, that's all he received. If the cars were reversed and Norris pulled that move on Max, he would have received... Yeah, you know, yeah, there's another thing. If that incident happens against a top 6 driver, then I think that might be a penalty, actually. If there's no penalty here, a reprimand is adequate. So yeah, this one. And again, that for me... probably should have been a penalty as well. I was so surprised. Maybe the issue here is just FIA incompetence, which I feel like we're coming back to quite often. Russell did get a penalty for colliding with Mick in Singapore, which again was the wrong decision. When Latifi got one for the same thing. Hamilton didn't get a black and orange flag for a loose front wing in Singapore, whilst Magnussen did. They were loose in different places though. Magnussen's was a bigger problem. Okay, these are all just like old instances. Matt, you need to wake up if you really think there's no favouritism by those in power to Max and Red Bull. Then there is no help for you. Everyone's so dramatic on the internet. I love it. Common sense prevails. If Lando was on a push lap, it's a good drop. Yeah, that's definitely true. If Lando was on a push lap, yeah, there's no debate at all. That's a good drop. It was dangerous, but dangerous created by both Max's cold rear tyres make him deviate very unexpectedly, but also Lando's speed there. Look at Lando's onboard, see if Verstappen could realistically have expected him to go full speed there, and whether he had to. I don't think it's about that, and to be fair, the stewards didn't mention it either, so I think that's a pretty mute point, because that's not really about anything. Praise for impact. Great. Meaning FIA in future is going to use what happened between Lewis and Max as reference to give another driver a championship. When you apply rules, you don't check how wrongly you've... There's another thing. Yes, they're showing the precedent from the past where it was just a reprimand, but, you know, things like this should have been a penalty. They've got it wrong in the past. They're basing it off of wrong decisions they've made previously. And that's maybe where my problem is with it a bit. Statement says every other incident the same as a reprimand, so no, it wouldn't be a pen. You Lulu fans. You damn Lulu fans. Yes, Merc, I've got penalty. Well, French engineering has a reputation for a reason. I know, I'm happy my Peugeot hasn't expired. I had a lovely new Peugeot 208. Lovely little car. Lovely. Also, mostly because I can get it to do about 80 miles per gallon on the motorway. So, again, as a university student, pretty solid. Actually, I need to go buy some petrol. Let's round off the stream so I can go buy some diesel for my car. I say having had two 106s and a Clio. Right. Keep in mind, from my 20 years in amateur racing, sporting regulations from my experience have not taken much into account with intent. It never does. It never does. I assume they discussed and could not decide, and then they looked at past decisions. Yeah, probably what they went for. The Max fans are much more toxic as Lewis fans nowadays, lol. Honestly, there's incredibly toxic people from both ends. That's just the way it is. You know, it's a shame, but try to ignore them. That's the best thing to do. Yeah, I was a regular customer at Eurocar Parts. Yeah, no surprise. Right, okay, guys, thank you ever so much. We've been streaming for how long now? Actually, we've been streaming for an hour 40 minutes. So that's a pretty solid stream today. Thank you all guys ever so much for watching. It's been great to come back and talk to you all again. I will try to do more regular streaming. I will try to do much more regular streaming. Like I say, we had a couple of things going on like in the family that sort of meant I couldn't as much because I'm sort of just being there for other people. But no, from now on, I'm hoping we can get some regular streams going again, and look forward to talking to all of you in the future. So guys, until next time, As ever, thank you. Yeah, no worries at all. Thank you so much. The stream was awesome. Thank you, Rasmus. Thanks. We do a live stream of the race. I won't live stream the race itself, but I'll probably do a live stream after the race where we can talk about it a bit. Thanks, mate. Glad I stumbled to this stream. Oh, brilliant, Gemma. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And like I say, guys, thank you all for being here and chatting, because I really do enjoy doing these and talking to other F1 fans. And let's close off the poll. 3,893 votes. Should Max be given a penalty? Yes ended up on 62%, and no ended up on 38%. So there we go. Yeah, I'll pop in tomorrow then. Have a good Saturday. Yeah, have a brilliant day, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. Thank you ever so much for being around. And until tomorrow, hopefully, goodbye.